My name is Manuel Honaitis, and I am a 13-year-old boy that lives in Equatorial Guinea. Although my country is a very beautiful one, it still has many problems. Just 1 year ago, our president was accused of corruption and was fined $26 million. I think that the biggest problem is our corrupt government. Throughout it, corrupt politicians are using money that is supposed to be used on helping the public for buying things like cars, mansions, and jewelry. This problem is affecting everything that happens in my country and needs to be fixed. I live in a small house just outside a town called Messonge with my mother and grandmother. My father died of malaria when I was young. My mother works on a farm near our house, and she told me that agriculture is 55% of Equatorial Guinea's total income. Last month, we were doing geography of her country in school, and we learned that the capital is Malabo, and that our country is made of 5 islands along with the mainland. Our teacher is also telling us that 95% of people know how to read in my country, which is one of the highest literacy rates in Africa. Although my country has many terrible problems, the beautiful culture and landmarks still survive. The closest national park to me is Montemalon National Park. It is a nature reserve with beautiful landscapes and animals. My mother is always talking about her life in our capital, Malabo, and about the huge church there called St. Elizabeth's Cathedral. My country also has some beautiful natural landmarks. One of these is the mountain of Pico Basile. I know about it because my neighbor hiked there and hiked to the summit. During the summer it goes up to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, but in the winter it goes down to 60. The time of year that I like the most is May and April because we get heavy rain and everything grows. There was a huge drought in 2011 that my grandmother and mother always talk about. The religious clothing that my people wear, usually long, brightly colored robes, but most of the time we wear t-shirts and jeans. In my opinion, the best dish that we have here is fish and chicken served with fruit and spices. My whole family is Christian, but I know a few people that are Muslim. Our teacher said that 95% of our population is Catholic Christian, and the other 5% is other smaller religions. Just like almost all of the countries in Africa, Equatorial Guinea faces a history of imperialism. Our country was colonized by Spain until we gained our independence in 1968. Equatorial Guinea was first sighted by a Portuguese explorer but was later taken by Spain. We supplied slaves for them, along with other resources like oil and cacao. They also spread Christianity and built things like St. Elizabeth's Cathedral. That is why Spanish is taught in schools here. Before we gained our independence, the Spanish had to leave Equatorial Guinea because of breakouts of yellow fever. During that time, Britain came and used one of our islands as a port to look out for slavers coming out of the Niger River. The biggest problem that I think needs to be solved in Equatorial Guinea is the corrupt government. Our government is a democracy but is slowly turning into a dictatorship. Our president, Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo, and he has been in office for over 30 years. I think that one way to solve this problem is to tell societies like the UN about our country and how we live in poverty and our president in luxury. This is the main problem, but Equatorial Guinea has other problems as well. For example, 60% of schools don't have access to clean water. One of the main reasons that citizens are so poor is that all of our crops and natural resources are all owned by richer people in other countries. Our country saw a massive increase in our GDP in the 2000s because oil fields that were found off the coast. That's why our country, with a GDP of $9,604 US per capita, is one of the richest in Africa, although we are still very poor compared to the US's GDP. Our country also has a small life expectancy of 59 years and an infant mortality rate of 60 deaths per 1,000 births. I love living in Equatorial Guinea even if it does have problems. I think that would be a much better place if we could just fix the corrupt government. This problem isn't just happening in Equatorial Guinea. All over Africa, people are suffering because of their government's lack of responsibility, and eventually, other continents will be affected as well.